Now I'm going to go in with the white here just to lighten some of the areas. Now this is a light fast, so it's Derwent Light Fast white. It's one of my favourite whites. It really, as you can see, if I just put a couple of little highlights there, I mean, it really takes really well. And considering that's on top of layers of pencil, it does take really well. Some of the other whites, they can struggle sometimes to go on top of other pencil, but this one really does really well. And I'm just going to show you where it's overlapping the edge of the face here. I'm going to bring a few little wisps across, and as you can see, I just think that brings a lot of life to pieces. So we've got a lot there. So anything I feel got a little bit dark there, maybe over darken some patches or whatever, it's quite easy to then go in with this and lighten it up a bit, and it also adds a wee bit of texture. And again, I'm just going into these areas that I feel need a bit of darkening. Get a little bit more pencil in there. Again, there's a lovely wisp going right across, and that just adds a bit more realism to it. And at the edge here, I'm doing the same thing, almost bringing the face out to make the ear look like it's going across it. It's almost doing it in reverse. I do that quite a lot, and I think it's quite an effective way to get these kind of wisps at the edge of the face. That happens quite a lot in dogs. They'll have little wisps across their face, and I used to spend so long trying to get that right, and it can be difficult putting light on top of dark, and there was all sorts of problems. So what I find now is it's actually easier to bring the face out, almost do it in a negative way. So as you can see, I'm just adding some of the detail in down here as well, now that that's dried. So as you can see, I didn't have to wait long for the blender to dry. It does just take a wee minute or two. Now that's coming on quite nicely. I'm going to now add, I've noticed in this reference photo there's a few bits where the sun's really catching, so this is quite fun when you can just take a really bright colour and put it in, and you just get something lovely happens. So let's just go straight in. Now this is a completely different type of pencil, Koh-i Noor, and this, for anybody starting out, it's a real kind of budget price. And at first I thought, cheap pencil could be cheap result, and it's really not. I actually really enjoy using them. They're a lovely pencil to use, and as you can see, really pigmented for a lower priced pencil. So please don't let the low price of this pencil in particular put you off. Normally I would say low price sometimes means low quality, or you know, they're not as pigmented and they don't blend as well or whatever, but I have to say with these, they are lovely pencils to use. So I'm just putting, now I'm using this very sparingly because before you know it, you can end up with an orange dog, and we don't want an orange dog. But it just gives, it just lifts it just that little bit, gives it a bit of warmth, makes it look like the sun's catching it. And I'm just going to put a few strays, like I've said, across. And that makes you think that the sun's just caught those little wisps here and there. Now, I don't know if you can see it very well, but what's happening down the bottom of the ear is because I've not got an awful lot of pencil on there, it's gone a little bit grainy again as I've started to layer up. So this is where I'll show you what it looks like when you just do that extra bit of blending. So like I say, you can put on a layer. If you're not happy with it, just blend it, and you can see that graininess just disappears again. And you can do that as much as the paper will allow. It'll depend on what paper you're using, so just be careful that you don't destroy your paper, but as you do it, you should get a feel for that. And we just blend that out again. So it's really just a cycle of covering the paper, getting your kind of tones down, get your colours in there, blend it, and then add your detail on top. And you can do that as many times as you like until you get the level of detail that you're after. So I'm now just going to add some cream. You can also use some of the light colours if you just want to use them to kind of mix colours together. They can work almost as a blender as well, so don't be afraid to go on with some colours on top just to blend things out. And I'm just going to take a couple of stronger lines across, and it just gives that illusion of, you know, the fur blowing in the wind. And those little stray hairs are the things that make it look more real. So I tend to, even if they're not there, I add them in. And they can be very effective going across in front of dark fur like that. And that's where you start getting a lot of movement. This is a lovely one by Caran d'Ache Luminance. It's a sepia, 10%, and this is one of my favourite colours where you just want to tone things down a little bit, because things can get a bit too bright when you're doing dogs like this, and they can sometimes become unrealistic looking. So I use that just to tone it down a little bit. It's a lovely colour. It's almost like a kind of grey lavender or something, and it's just quite a natural colour. It's a colour that actually appears in animals quite a lot. You wouldn't think it, but I've come across this colour a lot, and it just tones things down a bit, makes them look a wee bit more realistic rather than sometimes they can become too warm or too unrealistic. Now, I could spend all day doing this, but I'm just going to add in a few extra details, I think, and then call it a day on this one. And hopefully that's allowed you to understand how the blending technique works, and you can apply it to some of yours. Everybody likes different things, so feel free to give it a bash. You might love it, you might hate it, but it's all experience and it's good to try. Let me just put some more. I'm just going to put some smaller details in with this, and as you can see, it's these little fine lines and details that really add to a piece at the end and give movement to the fur. And again with the dark, the same as what I did with the light, you just want to put a few wee stray hairs just crossing over here and there, go across some of the lights, and it gives that illusion of layers of fur rather than just one big piece of fur, because fur is full of layer and depth, so you want to give that impression. Just a few loose hairs here and there can make all the difference to make it look real. I'm just going to blend just a couple of little touches, but I don't want to lose my detail. Just where it's looking a little bit harsh, or I feel it's got grainy again, you just go over it, just blend little bits and bobs. Little doers, as Bob Ross would say. And I'll just get them blended away. And I think we'll call that quits for today. So thank you for having me, and thank you to Bonnie for having me on our channel, and I hope you enjoy. And this is the final result.